In this video, we're going to talk about how to create hook sentences. If we take a look at the parts of an introduction paragraph, notice how the hook sentence is the first sentence in an introduction paragraph. And the hook sentence's job is to get readers' attention. So in class, we discussed 6 different types of hook sentences. First type of hook sentence is tell a story. And this is 3 to 4 sentences to get the reader ready for our topic. The thing about the story is, notice how short it is. So we're not telling the entire story in the first sentences in our paragraph. The point of this story is really focused on one small event to lead our readers into our thesis statement. So if we take a look at an example, our topic takes us back to the beginning of the year. Our question is, should food be Americanized when it's brought to the U.S.? So if I take a look at my example, my tell a story example, notice how we have a small story. So I'll never forget the first time I ate at an authentic Mexican restaurant. As I crunched into the taco, I was shocked by the delicious, authentic flavor. Until then, I didn't realize what I had been missing by eating Americanized food. So if we take a look at that hook sentence, that's going to lead us into a thesis that would say something like food shouldn't be Americanized when it's brought to the U.S. So that kind of we're on the shouldn't side on that one. Next type of hook sentence we're going to talk about is the attention getter. And what this basically is this is onomatopoeia. Okay, we have a big definition here, but really onomatopoeia sums this up pretty well because it's a one-word attention getter to get our reader's attention. So if we take a look at an example of an attention getter, this would be this second column. Notice how we have our that's our onomatopoeia, and then we follow that up with just a really short little dialogue to focus us on what we're going to be talking about. Ah, you scream as your mouth burns from the authentic Mexican salsa. I'm never eating salsa again, you exclaim. So in this instance, we're on the should side. So our thesis sentence would say food should be Americanized when it's brought to the U.S. Next example is strong opinion. And now with this, our goal is to have an opinion that's really strong, really focused, and it makes our readers want to respond. Now, when we think about the goal of the entire paper, the paper itself has an opinion if you're writing an argumentative paper. But with this hook sentence, we want to motivate readers. So we want to be really strong in your face to get the reader's emotions going. So if we take a look at an example, there is one opinion intelligent people can conclude after eating at an authentic Italian restaurant. Americanized Italian food is flavorless. So first of all, here's a strong part. Secondly, notice how they're saying that intelligent people. So if you are on the opposite side as me on this part, then you can infer that you're not an intelligent person. Okay, that's going to upset some people that are on the other side. They're going to want to keep reading this paper to try to disprove this. If you're on the same side as this, you're going to agree with them. You're still going to want to read this paper because the opinion is so strong. Next type of hook sentence is ask a question. This is the most commonly used hook sentence. And the reason is because it's easy. And our goal is to ask a question to make our readers want to continue reading the paper to find the answer. Now, I will caution you on using this too often because this can become ineffective. It's one of the more boring hook sentences, and remember our goal for hook sentences is to be creative and to really get our readers' attention. An example of asking a question would be this one. Did you know that most of the food in America has been Americanized? Notice how it's the least creative of the bunch. Still gets the job done, but it's definitely not as creative as our previous. State of fact. And our goal here is to find an interesting fact in our article to use. This takes us back to thinking about the paper again. When you think about the paper, notice the whole paper has facts in it because each time you write a body paragraph, you need 2 facts from the article. What makes this different is this time we're finding a very, very interesting fact. So if you're reading the article and something really stands out to you, that'd be the fact that you would include in your hook sentence. Now remember, as we're talking about these, all you have to do is think of one type of hook sentence to use when you're making an introduction paragraph. So if there is no facts in an article that stand out to you, then you wouldn't use a state of fact hook sentence. Now, when we take a look at this example, notice how we are using a fact from the article, so this doesn't change from our body paragraph. We still have to give our author credit. So according to Tarshish, before a hamburger was Americanized, it was made of spoiled meat. The reason I found this interesting, and the reason I think this is an effective hook sentence, is because most people like hamburgers. So this is going to apply to a lot of my readers. Okay, and most people don't like spoiled meat. So this is going to surprise or shock most of our readers, and then it's going to make them want to continue to read to see if it ever got fixed or if it continued that way. And notice how this is on the should side. So our thesis would be food should be Americanized. I'm going to prove why based off this topic or based off this hook sentence. Last one, to give a statistic. This is pretty similar to state of fact. The only difference is this time we're using numerical. Okay, so we're using numbers to prove it. Notice how we have numbers here. Now I would rather see a number like 9 out of 10 people prefer Americanized food or something like that. But this article didn't really lend itself to giving us statistics. So if I was writing this paper for real, I wouldn't probably give a statistic because we're looking for, just like the state of fact, we're looking for interesting statistics. Now that we've taken a look at the 6 different types of hook sentences, the next thing we're going to do is take a look at our worksheet. And on this worksheet, notice how we need to use a different type of hook sentence for each paragraph. So in other words, if I use a question hook sentence for this paragraph, then the next paragraph, so I'm going to have to choose a different hook sentence from our 6. We did do the first one together in class, so we'll do this one together here. And of course, you don't need to do this on your worksheet. So our first topic is, what is the best school? If we take a look at our thesis, it says Stillman Valley is an awesome school. Stillman Valley School is the best because they are a small community. Everyone cares about each other, and everyone strives to be the best they can be. So my job is I'm going to pick a hook sentence from the 6 that we talked about. I think this time I'm going to go with the attention getter. Ring, the bell sounds as you walk into your next class. You begin to think about how lucky you are. And that would take us into our thesis statement. You can use an attention getter for one of the other paragraphs on your worksheet. Just because we use this together doesn't mean this one's ruled out because you didn't use one yet. Notice how we could also ask a question. We could say, have you ever wondered what the best school is? Yeah, that's a simple one. You could tell a little story. If you had a little story that was interesting. You have a fact about Stillman Valley School. You went here for a while and you have a fact. You could state a fact. That would work too. Any of the types of hook sentences that we talked about would work.